Hi, I'm Matt Sargent with ABC Acres here in Hamilton, Montana. We just took a look at our thermometers in our two different high tunnel greenhouses. You can see there was a 20-degree difference. Where does that difference come from? Well, yesterday, the one we're in currently right now, which is the lower temperature, 75 I believe, we installed our shade cloth. We all know that season extension is a huge tool to a gardener's advantage, whether it's a homesteader, whether you're at a homestead level, a market gardener, a commercial farmer. The advantages that greenhouses offer as far as getting an early start on especially long growing crops, this tomatoes, is invaluable even in southern climates. Not extreme southern, but when I was in Kentucky, having a high tunnel to get those early tomatoes by late June, early July was huge for a market gardener. If you're the first person at market with tomatoes, that's money, money, money. But even if you're talking about, backyard homestead scale, there's a huge amount of pride to have the first tomatoes on the block, right? And we all love that first early tomato. And yeah, it's awesome. The problem with the high tunnels or the greenhouses is in the summer months, they can actually get too hot for your tomatoes. And so you need to manage it. And the best way I've found to manage it is with a shade cloth. Yeah, having good ventilation is key, promoting airflow, but still, even with all those, you can end up with temperature extremes. And when you're getting into temperatures in the high 90s, 100s, it can cause all sorts of problems for your tomato crop. And the plants will keep growing, but you'll get blossom drop, you'll get sun scald, and more of your tomatoes will be splitting. So by adding the shade cloth, it allows you to see, as you saw, it's up to a 20-degree temperature difference, which will continue keeping these plants fruiting. So it's a simple, easy investment. Shade cloths are really easy to put on and off. If you have a high tunnel greenhouse of any size, you've put the plastic on it, so you put the shade cloths on in the very same manner. Real super simple. It's a long-term effect. And for tomatoes, you don't want a shade cloth of any higher than 30% UV blockage. But depending on what other crops you might be growing in your high tunnels, our smaller high tunnel, Artemis, the cloth that we got for that is actually a 45% reduction. And that's because in there we're growing peppers, ginger, and turmeric, which they like a more shaded environment. They like the heat, but they like the shade. So with the extreme temperatures we get here in Hamilton, Montana, we're still going to be plenty warm in there, but we're going to have the dappled light that those crops like. So just keep this in mind when you're designing and utilizing season extension techniques. Anything that jumpstarts heat for early growing could create excessive heat in the actual heat of the summer. And think about how you can manage it. If you have any ideas that are simpler or more cost-effective than a shade cloth, we'd love to hear from them. As always, we love to hear your questions and comments. You know what to do with them. And until next time, happy growing.